Alright, so what's up YouTube? It's the last component of the Master the Movement series in a way because this is the last component to the full body template that I gave out a little while back. It's all about core exercises. I'm going to give you 3 different core exercises to be able to choose from when you're going to be able to do the full body workout. Next week I'm actually going to put it all together for you, and I'm going to have all the 5 different exercises that you could be able to complete in a circuit, and then you're going to be able to have a workout for yourself to look back on, and you're going to be able to tweak it in any way that you would like to do. But so, not to say that this is the last of the Master the Movement series, because there are other movements that I'd like to get into, but we can do that at another time. This is the last part to develop a full workout for you guys all to be able to do. So we're gonna get into some core work. First and foremost, my favorite core exercise is heavy carries. So it's like picking up something heavy and then walking with it, because you can imagine that it takes a lot of core stability and core strength to be able to walk with something heavy. But since not everyone has that kind of environment, I wanted to simplify it down to things that we could be able to do at home or things that we could do at the gym. Now, I'm gonna give you 3 exercises today. And we're going to talk a little bit about the core really quickly. So every time we talk about the core, most of the time a lot of people are thinking about just the abs. We forget that our core is actually like a 360-degree circumference around our midsection, and that includes our lower back as well. So I'm going to be going over one of the exercises is going to be about flexion, which we're going to be talking about in a second. One's going to be a lower back exercise, and then one's going to be a rotational exercise, because we need to be able to incorporate all different types of angles and planes for us to be able to have a complete type of training program. So let's get right into the flexion. So when we talk about flexion, a lot of the times when we're talking about our core, we're talking about flexing our abs in a crunch. So this is flexion. So I'm shortening my abs right now. So that's what flexion is. But while I don't have any problem with anyone doing crunches, if that's a beginner exercise in my opinion, I want to take it up another level and talk about what I think is a much better exercise and more bang for your buck kind of exercise when it comes to flexion. So I call them V-ups. They are a little bit more challenging. They require you to be able to do 2 movements at the same time. So it's going to be the combination of my hands coming on up and also my legs coming up at the same time. So let's just see it all put together really, really quickly. I'm not going to worry about my knees being perfectly straight or everything like that, or me actually touching my toes. So this is what a V-up looks like. All right, like I said, it requires you to be able to do a couple different other exercises before it. One of them being like toe touches. So that's just to be able to have your legs up at that angle, or doing leg lifts. You have to be able to have those prerequisites in order to really do the full V-up. But altogether, being able to do a V-up is going to get you more bang for your buck than just doing isolated exercise like a toe touch or the leg lift. So a V-up is something that hopefully you'll be able to incorporate in your exercises eventually. While they may be tough at the beginning, if practice, you'll be able to get better at them. Second exercise, like I said before, our core is a 360-degree circumference. So a lot of us will mistakenly not really work our backside of our core. So for this one, it's called bird dogs. You're going to see that I'm on all 4s, and I'm trying to keep everything stacked on top of each other. My hands are directly in line, hopefully, with my shoulders, and my legs are directly in line with my hips. So with this exercise, it's called bird dogs. Don't know why, but it really does do a good job of helping you stabilize your core and your hips at the same time. So how this exercise works is that if my right hand is going to go up, my left leg is going to go back and up at the same time. So let's watch this. It's going to go just like that. And notice how I hold it for a second before I come back down. So we're going to do the other side, because I did 2 on the other side. I'm going to do 2 here. And I'm really trying to stabilize my core. The common mistake that'll happen with this is that people will like really shift their body. They'll hip will open up and everything like that. So just being able to just do it for 1 second, hold it for a second, switching and go to holding it for a second, is going to be grand for, you know, your overall core development, because it's way more beyond just, you know, your rectus abdominis and your six-pack and everything like that. Which gets me into my last exercise. We're going to be talking about a rotational exercise, because a lot of the things that we do are more just based to either flexion or even a plank, which is an isometric kind of exercise, which are great. I'm not bashing them at all, but we want to have a complete overall core development and core training. So we're going to talk about a rotational exercise now. I call them Russian twists. I think everyone calls them Russian twists, or they can be called oblique twists, because we're not just working our flexion here, we're working the rotational aspect of our body. So you can start this exercise with your feet down if you can't eventually progress it. So you can start with your feet down. I'm going to show without that. We're going to have our feet up. And what a rotation or Russian twist is going to be is a rotation of my body going from here all the way to the other side. Now, when you do this exercise, you really have to make sure that you are fully rotating yourself and you're really trying to get this shoulder all the way to the ground, or this hand all the way to the ground, but really driving the shoulder across. A lot of the times that I see this exercise done for the first time, it's more of a just this to this, and it's a beginning, but we really want to get that full rotation out of it, because like I said before, we're looking for the most bang for our buck. So this is the Russian twist right here. When I do this exercise, I try to look forward when I'm doing it now. Before, I used to go side to side, and then after that, I would be really, really dizzy. So I realized that by doing this exercise and having my head facing forward, I don't get dizzy at all, versus if I'm going like this. Very dizzy. Even just doing a couple of those will mess up your equilibrium. So I wanted to make a quick video on this. I didn't want it to be too extensive, because everyone knows that there's so many different core exercises that you could do. I could have done a 30-minute video on this, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted to break it down into 3 different dimensions that I think we need to work on. The flexion one, which is the V-ups, something lower back related, because I think that's something that's extremely overlooked for a lot of us in realizing why our core or why like certain injuries will occur for us. And then a rotational aspect of it, because again, I think that's something that's very overlooked, and it's something that needs to be addressed. If you're able to do rotations when you're picking something up and moving it across your body, it's going to be a lot easier for you in everyday life. So I'm excited for next week, because I'm going to actually be able to put all 5 of the exercises that I have gone over all together, and I think it's going to be really, really interesting to finally have that workout for people to be able to use as like a very beginner and a very basic kind of template, because I always think that it's very individual on how you need to work out. And I say that, I mean that, you know, your needs or your wants may be different than, you know, other people's. So me just giving a general workout isn't going to meet everybody's needs. So that's why by continuing the Masters of the Movement series and having different other exercises that may address the issues or your wants and needs, we'll be able to actually start to put in different exercises than just the one workout that I'm going to be able to give out next week. But it's going to be a template. And that's exactly what this is. It's just a template. It's not necessarily specific to anyone. I think full body workouts are phenomenal for anyone, but it needs to be, any type of thing needs to be individualized for the person and their wants and their needs. And that's why we talked about goals at the start. But I can't wait to put that out next week, and hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.